You got my mouth?
You're into it.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a very special and very personal video. Today I'm going to share my labor and delivery story. So many of you have been journeying along with me through my miscarriages, through my pregnancy, and now with baby Madison, who is 4.5 months old already. I can't believe it. I feel like the time has just flown by. I'm just grinning because as I said that, Oscar just shook his head and slobber went flying everywhere. Such is life and such is being a mom. I also finally got myself set up and then realized I have a little bit of milk on my shirt as well as some baby food, but who cares? I'm just gonna get right into it. It is a beautiful day in Vancouver and I am seated outside on my patio. The sun is shining, the background is beautiful. I feel like this is such a nice scene to set the stage for my labor and delivery video. There are birds that are chirping in the background. They're pretty loud actually, so hopefully the audio doesn't pick up on that too much and this doesn't interfere with the video all that much. I have learned that no matter how much you prepare yourself for your labor and delivery, no matter how much information you collect and how many other women's stories you hear, you could never quite be prepared for the experience going into it. I didn't actually make a birth plan because my nature is very much to just go with the flow, to wing it, and to be as present as I possibly can be in the moment. So that really was my birth plan. My birth plan was not to have a plan and to just be present in the moment and take in the experience for everything and all that it was worth. Oh my goodness, Oscar, stop scratching your ears. Buddy, can you lie down? Sit down. So I'll start with describing. Honey, can you call the dog? So maybe I'll start this story with sharing a little bit about my pregnancy, which actually was really great. I really enjoyed being pregnant. The first trimester, horrible. My second trimester and third trimester were awesome. I had tons of energy. I stayed active throughout my pregnancy. I just really enjoyed the experience of being pregnant. I'm not a very tall person. I'm only about 5'3.5". So I feel like there probably just wasn't a lot of place for the baby to go other than out. But I was really showing my pregnancy and looked like I was ready to pop and was ready to pop by the end of my third trimester. My due date was February 17th, and right up until my due date, baby Madison was totally comfortable. She wasn't ready to go anywhere. She was happy in there. I didn't even feel like she had dropped much by the time my due date came around. My water didn't break or anything like that. Like, she was nestled in there, comfortable, showing no signs that she was ready to come out anytime soon. I also worked right up until the very day before going in to get induced. So I worked right up until February 16th. I went in for a design meeting. I remember getting up that morning and saying to my husband, I just have to go in really quickly for a meeting. And he looked at me and he was like, okay, but you know that this is the last day you're gonna be working, right? Like, this is it, no more. I was like, yeah, no more, just one meeting, that's it. So yeah, that's all just to say that I felt really great all the way up until my due date. So February 17th rolls around. It is a Thursday and I'm scheduled to go in and get induced. At the time, I was 40, I'm 41 now. So at 40, they don't let you go past your due date. I go in to get induced around noon on Thursday, February 17th. It's all very, very exciting. And also, with it being your first kid, there's such a lead up to this day. Like, everything is new.
You can see it smiling. Okay, so I am at the hospital now. It is February 17th, which is my due date, and I just finished getting induced with Cervidil. My cervix is very, very closed, so it's not likely that the baby is going to come today, but I'm just hooked up doing some monitoring. We get to go home soon, which is great. Chris is keeping up with his crypto news, and just in the room doing some monitoring. All very normal stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a waiting game. We just wait for something to happen. Wait for me to go into labor, wait for contractions to start, wait for my water to break. We just wait. That's it.
Going in, and I was warned about this by many nurses and many people who were seeing me, do not expect that the Cervidil is going to work right away. 99 out of 100 women, it does not. You need to come back 2, sometimes 3 times before your cervix has totally softened. So what happens is typically you'll go in for your appointment, they'll insert the Cervidil, monitor you for a little bit, make sure that everything looks good, send you home, and in about 24 hours you'll come back, possibly get a second dose, and that might happen again, so possibly a third dose. So it being Thursday, I was prepared not to go into labor until Friday, but probably Saturday. We get induced, we go home, very exciting. And I remember asking the nurse, so in the event that I feel something, does it happen right away, or what happens here? She tells me, if you do feel anything, but again, you probably won't, but if you feel something, it'll be around dinner time tonight. And, you know, if you have any questions or if you have any concerns tonight, you can call us at the maternity ward at any point. Okay, great. So we go home, made dinner. I think we ordered dinner that night. We had some Netflix going. And right around dinner time, it was like right around 6 or 7, I start feeling some intense cramping. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this seems pretty intense. Like, is this normal? Should I call the hospital? It's about, I don't know, I want to say maybe like 11 o'clock at night. I'm already in bed, and the cramping is feeling pretty regular and very intense. Chris had downloaded one of those contraction apps on his phone, where you can track your contractions, and you track them, and then it'll tell you if it's time to go to the hospital. So I'm like, okay, Chris, can you just time these contractions, please? Times them. What do you know? So we pack all of our stuff, go to the hospital. While I'm there, check to see if your cervix is dilated. Mine has not dilated. So they say, well, we're gonna send you home, but we'll give you something for the pain. So I got a shot of, I think it was morphine and something else, I can't remember. They say this should help. Go home. If you're finding that you're still in intense pain, what you can do is you can shower, have a bath. Heat will sometimes help and alleviate the contractions, and we'll probably see you at some point tomorrow. Okay, So we go home, you know, very anticlimactic. The roller coaster has started. The pain is not subsiding, so I decide to have a shower, which is a huge relief, to have a nice long hot shower, and then I crawl back into bed. It is now 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning the following days, and I have Chris time these contractions again. Like, I am lying in bed, and I'm a pretty tough cookie, but I'm like, there is no way I'm gonna be sleeping through this. Like, this is way too intense and way too painful. He times the contractions. Sure enough, pack your bags, hurry up and get to the hospital. Okay, round 2. So we go to the hospital, and this time it's time to stay. I'm definitely having strong contractions, way stronger than was expected. And they decide that they're gonna take the cervidil out because my contractions are too intense. They're going to admit me now into the hospital. And because I'm having such intense contractions, what they can do is give me an epidural for the pain. The only thing is that if I choose to take the epidural, which I do decide to do because I'm in a lot of pain at this point, they then have to put me on an oxytocin drip because they need to start fast tracking this labor. Like, I need to start dilating. So I get the epidural, and now I'm on the oxytocin drip. Cervidil is removed. So now it's game time. What needs to happen now is my cervix needs to go from 0, not open at all, even though I'm having contractions. And the thing is, you don't know how long that's going to take. Is it going to take 2 hours? Could. Is it going to take 30 hours? It could. And for me, it did. Oh my gosh.
It's 12:30. We're officially 30 hours into
Has it
labor.
been 30 hours?
Officially 30 hours. How you doing?
Oh my god. I am at 9 centimeters.
1 more to go.
1 more centimeter to go.
Big push.
I've been on the epidural for, when did I
13
get?
hours.
13 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I've never ever in my life done something this difficult.
You're a trooper.
Almost there.
Almost there. Doing awesome.
Almost there. I'm tired. I'm gonna try to nap for an hour.
Good idea.
Yeah, 30 hours later, I am finally at 9 centimeters. The labor process was exhausting. And when I think back to it and when I look back at my photos and the videos from that time, oh my gosh, I just remember how exhausting it was. And it's strange because you're on the epidural, you don't really feel anything, but your body is still working really, really hard with all these contractions. Your cervix is dilating slowly but surely. So by the time 30 hours had passed and I was at 9 centimeters, I was completely exhausted. I was completely exhausted. I'm just reflecting on like what those 30 hours was like, and it's so crazy because, you know, you have nurses and doctors coming out of your room, checking up on you constantly checking to see if you've dilated anymore. You know, someone would come in, it would be like an hour later or 2 hours later, and you've gone from 5 centimeters to 6 centimeters. And then they check on you 2 hours later, and then you're still at 6 centimeters. You can't eat anything because in the event that you have to go in for surgery, you can't have anything in your stomach. You can't really drink anything either. You're hydrated from being on an IV. And you can chew on ice chips. You can chew on ice chips. So by the time that I'm at this 9 centimeter mark, you know, 30 hours later, I was really tired, really tired. And it had kind of been, you know, already an emotional roller coaster of excitement, anticipation, disappointment that you're like dilating so slowly. My water didn't break on its own either. They manually broke my water. You don't feel it or anything like that. I can't remember exactly at what point that happened. I have a feeling that happened towards the end too. And at that point, when you're at 9 centimeters, you also know that you're really close to that 10 centimeter mark, and you're getting really close to the time where you're gonna need to push. Which is exciting, but also daunting a little bit, but mostly exciting. And by the time this rolls around, by the time I hit 10 centimeters, I am now into Saturday, February 19th. Yes, just getting to the point where I'm ready to push has been a journey. In the hospital to get induced on Thursday, it is now Saturday morning. What is exciting about Saturday morning though, you know that the baby is going to be born today. Like, there's no question, she's coming, and she's coming really soon. So Saturday morning, right at 12:30 a.m., so just as it turns morning on the 19th, I'm getting ready to push. And I remember before going into the hospital, I had a girlfriend tell me, here's a tip. What you want to do is just push like hell. Give it all you got. I was like, oh my God, amazing. This is totally gonna be me. I am fit, I'm active, I'm gonna push like hell, I'm gonna push this baby out. We're gonna do this quickly. And I did. I was pushing with all my might.
Okay, and push right into your bum.
Push.
Right down in here. Go. Quickly,
That's it,
quickly,
that's
right
it.
away. And again, go. Good, hard.
That's it.
Good, let it out. Big breath in. Again. And go. Go.
That's it.
Yes.
Good job.
Chris is there, he's holding my hand, he's cheering me on. Nurses are there, they're cheering you on. It really is an exciting time because finally, after all of this time, after the 40 weeks, after the miscarriages, after being in the hospital now for 2 days, I'm finally going to meet my baby, and it's gonna happen really soon. So I push and push. This goes on for 2 hours. At the 2 hour mark, the doctor feels around a little bit and says, okay, you've been pushing, like solid pushing. You're doing a great job pushing. You've been doing this now for 2 hours. I'm gonna call in the OB to come and take a look because I have a feeling that your baby might be flipped. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna call in the OB. Okay, OB, another person, no problem. So the OB comes in, puts her hand in, feels the baby, and yes, the baby is head down, which is good, but sunny side up. So she's stargazing. So when your baby is face down, the shape of their head and the position that they're in makes it a lot easier for them to come out. When they're face up, just the shape and the location that they're in makes it a lot harder. So what the OB suggests and says is what we're gonna have to do, because they can feel her. I know, she's not out yet. I know my baby has got a full head of hair because everybody who's down there who's feeling her can feel all of her hairs. That's cool. That's exciting. I'm excited about this. So what the OB is going to do is manually, with her hand, rotate the baby. So rather than being face up, she's face down. And then once she manually rotates the baby with her head, which is so weird to me that you can even do that. And I'm so frozen, you can barely feel anything. Once she's flipped and rotated, with her hand still inside, I now have to push. So next contraction that comes, and all of this has to happen in sort of a coordinated fashion, obviously. Like, it's not like she's in there rotating the baby and then I've got 15 minutes of a breather before pushing. No, this is all happening really fast. So her hand is in there, she's got the baby down, and we're ready to go. I push, next contractions, push, push, push. As I'm pushing, the baby turns herself over again. So now she's sunny side up. Okay. I've now been pushing for 2.5 hours. Baby's not out. The doctors say, look, you're doing a great job. You're doing everything right. You're pushing well. You're pushing hard. We can keep pushing. But the concern here is that you've been pushing already for 2.5 hours. Our recommendation would be that we take you in for a C-section, because the risk is if you continue to push, if you really want a natural delivery, you could be here for hours. And you never know, it might just result in an emergency C-section anyways. This is something I was not prepared for. I was not prepared for this. I wanted as much as possible to have a natural delivery. And at this point, I'm also feeling a little ripped off here, because if I knew that I was just gonna have a C-section anyways, I probably would have elected to do this like 30 hours ago, not now. So again, this crazy roller coaster of emotion, the highs, the lows that you go through in this period of time is insane. Huge disappointment on my end, because I don't wanna go through a surgery. Exhaustion for sure, and definitely concern and fear that if I don't go through with an emergency C-section, like, I might just end up here anyways in a few hours. So what are my options? Like, I might as well just go through with this. This next part, I will say, is something that I absolutely was not prepared for in any shape, way, or form. Partly because everything happened so fast. And looking back now, I realize why it has to happen so fast. My water's broken. I've been on the oxytocin drip for however long. I've been in labor for 30 odd hours. I've been pushing for 2.5 hours. Like, we got to get the baby out. There's no time for anything else. I get wheeled into the OR. The anesthesiologist comes over. Anesthesiologist? I don't know if that's the right term. The person who's handling like the epidural and the freezing and all that stuff comes over and he asks, so how is the epidural going? Like, good? I think it's good. Okay, I know you've been on the epidural for quite some time. Is it working as well as it was when you first got the epidural? No, definitely not. Like, I can feel more than I could when I first got the epidural. So he says, okay, we're gonna have to take the epidural out, and I'm gonna have to do a new spinal tap, because we're gonna need something that's equally as strong as when you originally got the epidural. All of this is happening very quickly. Once I get this new spinal tap, I start shaking, like uncontrollably shaking, and I vomit. Again, this is now the 9th time that I vomit, which I forgot to say. Apparently it's totally normal that when you're in labor, you throw up. I did 9 times. This is my 9th time now. I'm throwing up, I'm shaking, and they say to me, oh yeah, the shake is normal, that's to be expected, it's because of the new spinal tap. Well, I was not prepared for this, and I am shaking so badly that when they lay me down on the operating table, my hands are like doing this. My jaw is chattering. My jaw is chattering so much, I thought I was going to break a tooth. And mentally, I just was not prepared for all of this to happen so quickly. It's something that you just don't have time to wrap your mind around, and I am not one for like blood and surgery. I don't want to be cut open. I'm just not good with that stuff, like at all. I am so far out of my element, and I'm exhausted. I am physically drained. I'm mentally drained. I'm insanely emotional. I really want my baby out, and I cannot believe that I'm on an operating table shaking, convulsing uncontrollably, and I'm unable to stop. This moment, even as I go and think about it, is hell. This moment is hell for me. It is the worst possible scenario that I could be in. I remember Chris being in the OR with me, holding my arms down, because you're sort of on this table and your arms are out like this. They have the sheets so you can't see anything. Holding my arms down because they're flapping so hard against the table. And I ask him to please hold my jaw because it's chattering. I'm chattering so badly, and the shaking is distracting me, and I'm just doing everything I can to be in the moment and be present. And I'm going within and I'm mustering everything I have inside me to just hold it together. In total, this surgery lasts 90 minutes. It lasts 90 minutes. So it takes about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour to get the baby out. And then it takes about 30 minutes to do the stitches. I am lying there shaking, feeling so uncomfortable that I'm being cut open. I know that this is the only possible option. There's nothing else that can be done. So I just have to be strong. I just have to be strong. For everybody else who's in the room, this is totally normal. They probably do these C-sections, emergency C-sections, I don't know, a few times a day, multiple times a day. Totally normal, totally normal. I think as the person who's experiencing this, so not normal, so not normal. And as great as all the nurses and doctors were and are, I still feel like it's just something that you just absolutely can't prepare yourself for. You just can't prepare yourself for this. So anyways, however long it was, 45 minutes, an hour later, they say, okay, we're ready to pull the baby out. You're gonna feel a little bit of pressure, which I do. And then next thing you know, the baby starts crying. They hold the baby up over the sheet so you can see her. And I remember that moment, just feeling this huge like feeling of relief, like, oh my God, she's finally here, finally here. This is like, we're at the end. Thank God, thank God, thank God. And that sound of her crying is like, oh my God, I think about it now, and it's just like, I can't even explain the emotion of like going through all of this and then finally getting to hear her cry. I'm in such a traumatic state though, that they can't give the baby to me because, well, first of all, I'm shaking so much I wouldn't be able to hold her. So the nurse does bring Madison around and brings her to me and puts her face next to mine, which in a way was such a beautiful moment, but also was so hard for me to cope with in that moment because it's traumatic. It is traumatic. And I like hesitate. I hesitate using that word because for me, I was going to do my deep yoga breathing. I was going to go inward. Me and this baby, we got this. She was going to slide right out. I was going to be totally zen about the whole thing. And I didn't have that option. So once the baby is looked over, cleaned up, she is born on February 19th at just after 5 a.m. She's beautiful. She's 8 pounds, 6 ounces. 8 pounds, 6 ounces? Yeah, 8 pounds, 6 ounces. Big baby. And I love too how when the nurses pulled her out, they were like, she was never gonna fit. Great. With modern technology, could we not have figured this out 30 hours ago? Is there no way to tell that? 30 hours ago? Like, did I have to go through all of this to only get here? Anyways, they usher Chris back into my delivery room because they really need to get the baby skin on skin. And they need to finish up the surgery with me. So this is horrible. This is terrible. I'm at the tail end of my surgery. I am shaking. I want this to be over so badly. I want my husband next to me. I want him holding me down. I want him holding my jaw shut. And he can't be there. So they take him into the next room over. And I know that this was like super upsetting for him as well. They take him out to the next room over. He has Madison, and I finish up the surgery. And I'm lying on the table, shaking, thinking about them, going to my meditative places, centering myself, imagining myself peacefully in the mountains. Finally, this is done, and they can wheel me over to my delivery room, and I can hold my baby for the first time. Do we want to go to shut away?
She's got it out.
You're into it. We'll let her peace. Let her hang out there for a little bit and warm up to it. She's pretty content with her hands.
Hey. Beautiful. Beautiful.
This is perfect timing that you woke up from your nap. Perfect timing. I was just telling the story about when you arrived. When you got here. Woohoo! Wee! Is that a little bit of drool? My little sunflower. I just got to the point, or the part where I was saying that you arrived. That you got here. It was a journey. You weren't wanting to go anywhere. Right. Okay. You can come back in the end. You can come back and say bye to everybody, okay? I remember being in the room. My husband turned on some really soft, quiet meditation music, and I was holding my baby. I was trying to nurse her, and I remember that moment and that scene so well, of just everything just sort of calming right down. And it was such a good feeling to just feel like this was finally this horrible experience, my God, was finally done. And she's here, and she's beautiful, and we're parents, and oh my gosh, there's just so many emotions that I was experiencing all at that one time. Now our journey as parents begins. I'm learning how to breastfeed. I can eat, finally. I haven't eaten anything in however many hours it's been. We can sleep, finally. We're learning how to change diapers. There's just so much to learn. Poor Chris, he was so tired, and he was such a champ and such a trooper and such an amazing supporter through this entire experience. He was so tired, and it was it was in the middle of the night, and I couldn't get up without help, because now I'm recovering from the C-section, which I now realize is also a major surgery, and I needed to wake him up because I needed help with the baby. And I remember whatever was in my vicinity, anything that I could grab, I was throwing it at him, trying to wake him up. So I think I had like a plastic spoon, I had some juice boxes, and I'm like throwing them at him, trying to wake him up. And I don't want to be like, Chris, and yell, because I don't want to wake the baby up. So I'm just trying to wake him up. And I'm also trying not to laugh, because you can't really laugh. Like anytime you laugh or cough with these brand new stitches, it's ugh. So I'm throwing these things at him and then going like, trying not to laugh, trying to wake him up. But yeah, that was one of the funnier moments that I remember from being in the hospital. Finally, Monday the 21st rolls around, and it is the day that we are getting released from the hospital, and the day that we get to go home and bring our little beautiful bundle of joy, Madison, home for the very first time. This is such an exciting day. I cannot wait to get out of the hospital, because I came in 5 days ago. It has been a long journey, and I'm just so excited that I get to bring my baby home. Now that we have to bring her home, oh my God, we got to get her dressed for the first time.
Okay, little one. First outfit. I'm gonna put you in. Oh, maybe she was last night. Should we try this one?
The giraffe one?
We haven't done this yet. What are we going to put her in? How do we dress her? How do we get her comfortable? I mean, all of a sudden, now that we're leaving the safety and this cocoon of the hospital bubble, all of a sudden, like being parents and having to take care of this little tiny human is becoming a reality. So I remember in the morning of the 21st being up on my feet and Chris passing me the baby, and there was just something about that moment of being mobile and on my feet and holding Madison that just made me, I was just a puddle. Like the wave of hormones now is also hitting and oh my gosh, the emotion that you feel in this moment, the excitement, the joy, the apprehension, the love, the overwhelming amount of love, the overwhelming amount of gratitude. Oh my gosh, it's indescribable. And unless you've gone through it, you could never fathom what the experience actually is like. I remember the moment of pulling in front of our house, and again, this is a moment where I am completely overcome with emotion. It is just so overwhelming to be bringing your baby home for the very first time. The fact that we are home, first of all, the fact that this whole experience, this whole labor and delivery experience is now behind us, thank God. And we're home with our brand new baby. It is just so overwhelming. It's so emotional. Oh my God. And I am a puddle. I'm a puddle. And now begins the waterworks, which lasts for, I'm not joking, probably about 4 days. 4 days. And if you're a new mom, or if you're a mom and you're watching this, you will totally understand what I'm talking about. I love, after having Madison and running into other moms and them asking, so did you cry for 4 days? Have you had that? Did you cry for a week? Yeah, that whole hormonal shift is very, very real. And for me, being home was, it wasn't easy at first, but you know what? Now that I am where I am, and now that our baby Madison is 4.5 months old, she's healthy, she's beautiful, she's thriving. We love being parents. Now that we are where we are, I would do the whole thing all over again. I would do it again, and I would probably do it like 5 times over again if I wasn't so old. Come here, my little sunflower. My little sunflower. Yeah. My little bundle of joy. My, what is it? The star of my story. The star of my story. Oh yeah. Somebody wants to jump. Somebody wants to go. Boing, boing, boing. Fancy Pete. Okay, so I think I will end my story here, my video here. This has been a very long one. I'm gonna have to really cut this down. This has been really long, but thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I'm very pleased that I get to share my story with you, my labor and delivery story, even though it wasn't the smoothest or slipperiest, as they say. This girl is going in dance class as soon as possible, right? But still, I wouldn't change it for the world. This is my own unique story, and I'm so grateful that I get to share it with you. So thanks again for watching this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed, and I will see you. We will see you in the next video. Bye for now.